Hello everyone and welcome back for another episode of Billy's Bites. Tonight we are going to be making homemade red sauce with some ground bison as well as store-bought pasta. Tonight's episode was recommended to me by my friend Steph, and I found it fitting just with everything going on in the world right now with coronavirus and people really stocking up on those canned goods. Without further ado, let's jump right into the cooking. I went ahead and made the sauce day before just because it did take a few hours to get everything prepped, cooked, all that good stuff, and it really helps to save time when you're just trying to get a nice easy dinner thrown together. So, for the sauce, I took one yellow onion, minced that, then over on the stove, over medium heat, I heated up a saucepan with about a quarter cup of oil. I found that to be a little too much for the pan I was using, but if you're going to use a bigger pan, quarter cup should be more than sufficient. Then I added in 3 cloves of garlic, sauteed that until fragrant. After that, I went ahead and added my oregano and some red pepper flakes to add a little bit of kick to the sauce. If you're not a fan of spicier red sauces, you can totally leave them out. I let those flavors get to know each other for about 1 minute more before I went ahead and added in the onions. I went ahead and cooked the onions for about 5 to 10 minutes until they had a nice brown caramelized look to them. And that's when I went ahead and added about a tablespoon, maybe closer to 2 tablespoons, just eyeball, however much tomato paste you really like. And that really just helps to fill out the flavor. Then once all the ingredients were mixed together, I went ahead and added in my 2 cans of canned tomatoes. And I kind of pushed up some of the diced tomatoes against the wall of the saucepan just to get them down to a little easier texture to work with, and they weren't as chunky. And then you're going to go ahead, bring that sauce up to a boil, then partially covering it, turn your heat down to low, and simmer that for 2 hours. At the end of that, salt and pepper to taste, and if you need a little more seasoning, go ahead and add that. You can also add some white sugar to that sauce. It kind of helps to break up the acidity in case you do sometimes get heartburn after having any sort of red sauce. Now, we're going to jump to the next day where we'll talk about how to make the pasta and the ground bison. So, over a medium heat, heat a 12-inch skillet, add about a tablespoon of oil. Any neutral oil should work, between olive oil, canola oil, whatever you have, really, that works. I went ahead, seasoned with salt and pepper, and cooked the bison for about 5 to 10 minutes until it was brown on the outside, good and cooked through on the inside. And while that bison's cooking, just stir it occasionally just to make sure that one side's not getting too burnt. But it's also a great time to start cooking some of your pasta. I'm at about 5,700 feet where I am. So pasta water does take a little bit of time to boil, which is why I do use an electric tea kettle. I found that really helps to speed up the process. So I fill that up about halfway. I let that go. Probably takes 5 to 6 minutes. Then I go ahead and add the water once it's been boiled into the pot. Bring it back up to a boil. Then I take my box pasta. I'm using rotini tonight. And add that in. Cook according to box instructions. Then obviously taste it when it's almost ready to make sure it is done. Sometimes I do need to add a minute or so, which is what I had to do in this case. Drain the pasta and make sure you rinse it with a little bit of water just to remove any excess starch. That also really helps the pasta from sticking together. Before the final completion, you're going to want to take your sauce out of the fridge or wherever you were keeping it from the day before. Add it into your pan that had the bison in it. Mix all those flavors together. Make sure the sauce gets nice and warm. Then go ahead and add in your pasta to your pan. Mix it all around and serve in a bowl or whatever your desired dish is with any other garnish that you might like. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe. I will leave the recipe down in the description below. And if you have any suggestions, please feel free to leave a comment and I will see what I can do for them. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great night.